right, JHK here for the AllStar, and joining me right now is UFC featherweight contender Josh Emmett. Josh, it's good to see your face, man, and you have a fight coming up. You know, we've had a few interviews during your recovery. How are you feeling right now, physically, mentally?
Yeah, I feel great. I know we talked a handful of times, and it was definitely tough. Like because I had so many injuries, I didn't respond well to the first surgery. Had to go back in, do multiple things, but man, it's been forever. But it really time flies. It feels like I just fought, but when I do come back and fight, it's going to be a year and a half, which is wild.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel great. My the knee I had surgery on is actually stronger than my other knee now. It's kind of wild, but I'm I'm feeling good and ready to get back in there and put on a show, especially with the fans back.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to talk about. Now, when you got the green light from the doctors, I'm pretty sure you went through countless doctor's visits, and then when they finally told you, like, Josh, let's do it. You know, you're ready to go. Let's set up a fight. What were the emotions like?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I just working with my PT for a long time, so it's like I know the ACL is super strong, but I was having issues from where they took the graft from, just a lot of pain. But I could pass every single test. It was easy for me, and yeah, I was happy. It's just because I didn't think I was going to get back to fighting, honestly, because my my knee was doing so bad that I was thinking, am I ever going to get back to you know performing at a high level? But yeah, here we are. So stoked.
Yeah, I saw a few videos of you just blasting off your legs, dude, like doing box jumps, you know. So if you could do that, I pretty much you could do anything with the knee, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Wrestling, grappling. I feel like for being a short guy, maybe I don't look like it, but I feel pretty athletic and I got some hops. So I feel like my spring is back. And yeah, like my movement is there and everything in sparring. So things are really coming together and I still have 4.5 weeks. Like I could fight this weekend, like I'm ready. I've been busting my ass for a year, like 15 months.
The mental growth throughout that time, what was that like?
Man, I don't know. It's nothing I haven't
Yeah.
gone through before. I've had so many injuries and had to overcome certain things, and not only just in my career and my life and all this type of stuff. So it's yeah, that's my strongest attribute. It always has been. It's I knew one day I would get better, and I knew at least I was hoping because I was having, like I said, having those little talks with myself, just not being able to do certain things. But I just believe that I'm going to do well. I'm going to get there eventually. It's just taking longer than I expected or wanted. Same with a lot of things, but yeah, it's you know, I'm mentally tough. I'll tell you that. I can endure and go through a lot of things.
Honor Allen, he was the original opponent for your comeback. They replaced him with Dan Ige. A better stylistic matchup, do you believe?
Yeah, I think everyone's tough, man. It's I wanted to go out there like I was saying. I wanted to fight someone in front of me, but if I fought Arnold Allen, I would have to wait till potentially February or March, and then who knows what happens? Like maybe he gets injured again. Maybe I get injured. It's like you never know. So I wanted to fight before 2021 was up. That was my goal, no matter what. And then they offered me Ige. He's tough. He's fought some of the top guys in the world. He's coming off two main event slots. I see a lot of similarities in our styles. He has pressure. He's BJJ black belt, good wrestling, super durable, good hands. And so at least I think the fans are more excited for this matchup than they would have been for the Arnold Allen fight. And I just have to be ready for a 15-minute fight because Ige's never been put away, and I just know the pressure he brings. He's a tough dude, so it's going to be a hell of a fight.
You mentioned his wrestling, and in his last performance against the zombie took him down and kind of kept him there, which was very surprising to a lot of people. It showed the evolution of the zombie, but do you see a hole in his wrestling?
Yeah, I don't know. I think MMA wrestling is different than just, traditional folk style wrestling. So, um, I think Zombie was just timing it perfect, and he surprised me. I didn't expect that either. I thought Dan would be taking him down possibly, and then every time he just kept taking him down, and then Zombie's jiu-jitsu is so good as well, where he would triangle the body and just that's a hard position to get out of. Like once someone has your back and they have that figure four locked up and they know what they're doing, like that's a really tough position. So I think he just played the perfect game plan and executed it perfectly. And um, yeah, but that's not my style. I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy, so I won't be doing that. But it would be awesome. I wouldn't take these big shots to the head.
For yourself, you're a great wrestler. You have the knockout power. Is there a struggle between wanting to knock a opponent's heads off and wrestling with him, even though that could be the easier path to victory?
Yeah, no, I think so, and I've talked about this so much throughout my career. It's like if you watch any of my earlier fights, I would always just I would more implement everything because I come from a wrestling background, and people don't know that really. I would go out there, I'd take people down, I'd submit them, or I would TKO them. And now my boxing coach, Joey Rodriguez, he's like, man, I can't get you to take a guy down now. He's like, he wants me now to, go out there and start wrestling people and stuff. But I'm like, but I just fell in love with boxing. I know I have the power, and it's more exciting. Like I know what the fans want to see, and that's what I think has like elevated me to where I am so fast because people want to see knockouts. But I can do it all. I even think my jiu-jitsu is really good, but I've never got to showcase that in the UFC.
Yeah, you have it because, like you say, you've just been knocking everybody out. With this fight against Dan, do you see it kind of similarly playing out like maybe the Burgos fight or even the Michael Johnson fight?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think, like I said, we're so similar. It's going to be nice for once that I'm not fighting someone a lot taller than me. I think Ige's like he's just maybe the slightest bit taller than me, but he has a 1 inch reach on me. But so that's just going to be nice. But yeah, I'm in store for a 15-minute fight. With every strike I throw, I'm trying to finish it. I'm never trying to go to the scorecards. I'm not trying to play it safe. And with those taller fighters, sometimes I have to put myself in danger and to get in the inside, because they're all taller than me. But now, I think we're just gonna I don't know, it's gonna be a fun fight. Or I don't know about fun, but um it's just gonna be different, I see a lot of similarities in like Bektik too, Mirsad Bektik with Dan Ige, but I think Bektik was a lot faster. His wrestling was better, whereas Ige has maybe a little more power in his hands and his jujitsu is better. So I fought a lot of guys I feel like similar to Ige. Um, so yeah, uh, I'm definitely I'll be ready.
Now, the division there, it's in a weird position. Do you think a highlight reel performance against Ige could maybe line you up behind the winner of Holloway Rodriguez?
That's what I've been. I hope, even though Ige's ranked, behind me, he's like I said, he's one of the best guys in the world, fought the best guys. Everyone else behind Volkanovski, or he's fought most everybody in the division. Um, and I think Yair and Holloway, the winner of that, will get another shot. And then it would be awesome if I can just go out there and implement my game plan and just kind of show people like what I'm capable of. I still feel like I haven't really got to show like the fans and Dana and Sean and all those guys like what I can do. So if I can just go out there and implement that and get a huge finish against someone that's never been finished, I I would think so. You know what I mean?
Now, you were on the sidelines for 18 months, looking in from the outside of the division. What did you learn about the trajectory of the fighters in that top 10, top 15?
I don't know. I watch most of the fights. Just like I've said, I've always been a fan of the sport, so I try to tune in, especially people in my weight class. during the top or in the top because I know I'll potentially fight them soon. Um, but yeah, it kind of things haven't really changed if you think about it. Like I was 6, and then they put Arnold Allen in front of me out of nowhere, so I knew what they were trying to do. I was like, oh, I wonder who they're going to offer me to fight, and then that was that. Um, but yeah, things really haven't shifted in the way that I thought they would. I thought everyone would have kind of, you know, just kind of the division would have like weeded itself out, but it really, I guess it didn't, but it kind of did in a sense, like you're saying. Now, Volkanovski and all these guys have fought, Ortega's fought, Korean Zombie's fought. It's like all these guys. I'm Cater. I'm coming off at least a 3 fight winning streak. Arnold Allen's on like a 7, but Yair and Max are going to fight. So I'm excited to see that fight and how that plays out, and then what happens next. So I really just have to go out there and put on like a hell of a show, like you said, and hopefully I can get a highlight reel finish, and then I really think it throws me right back into the mix. And I want to stay active, so I'll be healthy. I want to turn around and fight again in March, and then in July if possible.
Yeah, and there's so many matchups for you that is ahead of you, like Ortega, Zombie, Barboza. Like those guys are there, kind of just waiting for you to get this win, and then you could get the next fight.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But I would like to fight up because now I'm sitting at 7. I was like, since I'm not fighting Allen, I'd like to take my number 6 spot back, and then I'm going to fight Ige, which is 9. But I really want to fight forward. So if it doesn't line me up like next shot, depending on what plays out here in the coming months, my next fight, but I have to get a big win over Ige first. Otherwise, this all means nothing. Um, then I want to fight for a title eliminator.
How many of the top 10 guys have you trained with?
I think only Zombie a long time ago. And he probably doesn't remember me, but because I wasn't in the UFC. But when he came out to our gym back in, man, I don't even know when that was, 2011, 2012. Like I obviously knew who he was, and so we were training a little bit. Yair came out to our gym um, a few years ago as well, and like we didn't do a whole lot, just kind of moved around on our feet, nothing really. So I guess just those 2 guys, but not like a long like training. I never did like just partnered up with them during a practice or anything like that. And they're both good guys, like good fighters and just good people. So
PTSD in combat sports, from maybe losses or injuries or even just having a crazy war. Do you think it exists in fighters, and what is the effect of it?
yeah, like that's a good question. I've never really thought about PTSD in fighting, but yeah, there are some like some traumatic things that go on. I've had some happen to me, and I think there's play in the back of your head, but then I think it all depends on like the fighter's preparation. As long as you're putting in the work and you're putting yourself in those dangerous positions, you're whether it's in maybe not your strongest suit like jujitsu or wrestling or boxing, kick, whatever it may be. If you're putting yourself in the dangerous positions and you're getting better, you're evolving, then maybe that just the more prepared you are, it's like you're not going to be as nervous. But if you're not doing anything, like if you're not putting in like the road work, you're not putting in the technique or the lifting or whatever you should be doing, like if you're second guessing something, then I think yeah, PTSD could play um, be a huge factor in an upcoming fight, especially if you've had some gnarly injuries or crazy fights or something like that. So yeah, I definitely think it can play into it, but that's why I'm always trying to do more than my opponent. Like I'll do so much, and I'm on such like a strict regimen. And once I map out my camp, like training, and then I'm working with my dietitians and all these things, like I am like just 100% into this and like obsessed with it. Like I won't veer from the path at all, just because then I just think I'm not doing enough or I'm not prepared. But I never go into a fight thinking that way really because I know what I'm doing. I'm doing everything 100%.
Last question, open-ended question, answered anywhere you like. What keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? Man, really my right now I've been playing around with a lot of like NFTs and crypto and stuff, so that's on my mind. But like when it comes to fighting, I'm man, the only thing that scares I'm not scared I'll fight anybody. The only thing that scares me is losing. Like that's the only thing that like I'm terrified of, you know. And I've lost in MMA, and I played sports my entire life. I've lost, so even when I was undefeated, I was trying to do one of those things like I want to be the undefeated fighter like Khabib and win the title, you know. And then you get your first loss, and yeah, it didn't work out the way I thought. But like I know what it feels like to lose. It sucks. So it's like people are like, oh yeah, you learn from your losses. Of course you do, but you learn from your wins, and it depends on the fighter as well. You know, like I will never get a big ego. I'm the same person I've always been. But yeah, I'd say that when I don't really, it doesn't keep me up at night. But if I do wake up and during a camp, I'm just thinking about my opponent. Like I'm thinking about him a lot, especially when like I first get the contract, then I'm like really obsessed with it. And then say maybe I wake up in the middle of the night and it's like 3 o'clock. I'm like, oh shit, I should go for a run. But then I'm like, no, I need my rest too, you know, because that's an important part of you know fighting and competing and being an athlete is recovery is almost just as important as like putting in the work. So yeah, I'd say right now it's been the crypto and NFTs, but because things going wild. But other than that, it would be that like when I first get the contract, and then as I'm getting closer to the fight, you know, because yeah, we get because it all comes down to the like the finances. To be honest, like we get two checks. It's like a show and a win. I'm fighting no less or no harder to win. You know what I mean? I say it'd be like going into work. If you worked at 8 to 5 and yeah, you stubbed your toe or did something, you know, and had to go home late, and they're like, oh, we'll only pay you half. It's like I'm trying to work as hard as I possibly can. So that's why it comes down to like losing is my biggest fear, just because then I only get paid half my check.
UFC 269. Hopefully, Josh Emmett gets a NFT worthy highlight reel finish in this fight. Thank you, Josh, man. Always good catching up with you, man. And good luck on the rest of the camp and the performance coming up.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it, John.